All right, so with that being said, I want to welcome all of you to LinkedIn Profile Tips, 5 easy steps to get found first. My name is Dean DeLisle. I am founder and CEO of Forward Progress and also the creator of SocialJack. Many of you have heard about and you are members of socialjack.com. And that is our coaching and training platform where we have experience training and coaching over 98,000 people. In fact, we're going to hit about 100,000 people here. Looks like in the next couple of weeks, so we're going to have a big celebration, and hopefully you're part of that. We have a marketing division that helps companies post content on the internet in terms of us testing and knowing what works. We build profiles, websites, and so what's cool about this is we're bringing you the expertise that we have from some of our coaching and training programs, our boot camps, as well as our experience about knowing what helps profiles get to the top first. So we're excited about that, and hopefully you'll learn a ton. Now, in case this is your first time with us or with Citrix, we want to make sure that you learn how to engage with the GoToWebinar interface. There is a taskbar that should be on the top of your screen, and I note that some of you may not see this taskbar, so if you lose our taskbar or our slides at any point, all you have to do is click on the little flower or daisy at the bottom of your taskbar within Windows or within your Mac, and that will bring our screen to the top and then the control panel to the top, and then you can type in and ask questions. So just to make sure that I have everybody with me and you guys can ask questions with us because we are recording this session, so that's why we have you muted. Just please type into the questions area your favorite social networking platform. It could be Instagram, it could be Periscope, it could be Twitter. What's your favorite social media platform? So we have a lot of LinkedIn fans, of course. I've got some Facebookers in here that love Facebook the most. And it's funny because I was just at the Social Media Strategy Summit in New York. Literally just got in at 1 a.m. this morning. And what was interesting is we were talking about preferential communication, preferential social. This is where all of us have the place where we reside in social. And a lot of times, you know, where we reside in business, you know, some of you Pam put in LinkedIn for business, and you know, some people then had a different choice for personal. So I love the fact that you distinguish that. And so today we're going to come at it from a business perspective, but what we were talking about in our workshop yesterday in New York was relationship marketing, right? At the end of the day, this all has to do with relationships. And we're going to talk about getting to the top and getting your profile found first. But at the end of the day, this is social, right? So social combines business and personal interest, which is what makes us interesting from a social perspective and allows people to trust us to do business with us. And at the end of the day, we have mostly business folks on with us today, and your goal is to get more business. And some of you, your goal is to get a career move. In fact, you're going to get an invitation later to a workshop that we have about how to recruit and how to recruit and promote top talent within your company, and that top talent might be you. So if that's something that you're interested in, we're going to cover 9 different ways to promote and recruit out of LinkedIn. So exciting stuff. You'll get that webcast later today. So let's go ahead and dig into this. We broke this down. Now we have a whole course on this, but and a boot camp about how to have a rockin' LinkedIn profile and how to generate business and how to make massive career moves and really get what you need out of your social network. But for this one, just to climb to the top, we picked out 5 key things out of our workshop that everybody seemed to agree were the most critical moves and components that has helped them out. So we have understanding the foundations or the structure of how these social networks work. So we'll give you a tiny bit of that. We're going to give you some settings that are very, very key in your LinkedIn, build and optimize your profile, right? It's like, okay, now that I have these settings done, what do I do in my profile? And then there's our peer review, which is exciting, and then measuring the results. So let's dig in. So first, with the understanding the foundation, right? There's 3 critical elements. 1 is your social reach. 2 is what we call network science, and 3 is your professional keywords. Now, these are the things that affect you in terms of how you are seen and who you're seen by in your social network. So now the first thing is the mindset. When we come in and we go to organizations and they're like, well, we want to look good on LinkedIn. I was just with a giant bank in New York, and we were just talking to their whole team about them looking good. And I said, well, what's the mindset of the organization? What's the mindset of the culture? And they were like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, banks have a lot of regulatory compliance, which is a background of mine, and I understand, you know, how that works. And I said, so, you know, we want to make sure we break through, and you guys understand that you want to show up not just as individuals, but as an entire organization. So as long as you're willing to have an open mind and to step into this scary place called social networks and LinkedIn, we can make sure that you guys can dominate, you know, at the top of LinkedIn for your organization. They're like, great, show us how. So this is what we did. We take them into the next steps. But it's about that mindset for you as well as your organization. And I know some of you are the champions. Some of you are the champions that go into the organizations and make sure that you change that mindset. So I can fully appreciate what you have to do. We actually have some culture and transition courses that we teach as part of this too. So if you need that for your organization, please keep us in mind. Now, the one thing we talk about is social reach. Remember I talked about that? Social reach is that impact mechanism where you meet somebody, let's say, you know, you're doing this for career moves. You want to get found first by recruiters or by senior directors within your company, right? Or you want to get found first by clients that want to hire you. Well, the social reach has to do with a targeted social reach. So it has to do with the degrees of separation and how you're connected. No different than it was before LinkedIn came along. It's about how you're connected. And do they think of you? Have you ever had that moment where somebody says, oh man, they had that position open and we just didn't think of you, or we needed a new whatever, and I'm sorry, we just didn't think of you, right? We call that top of mind. Well, in social networks where people buy from people and gain trust, we want you to be the top of mind, right? So we're going to show you some cool things here in a second. But we want you to understand the impact and the degrees of separation, right? So you can see where Dean is connected to Sue here, and when I connect to Sue on LinkedIn, I'm connected to Mark and Pat by 2 degrees, and if I can just have a great looking profile, and when Sue or Mark or Pat at that layer decide to type something in and they're searching for me, where there's millions of searches right now going on for your talent or what you do, we want to make sure that you get that top of mind and show up on top. So this is the importance of what happens. And when you're on LinkedIn and you connect to somebody, it's like you get over 1,000 to 1 connections with every person you connect to, right? So this is part of, you know, where you have 240 connections. You're 1 degree from 35,000 people, and you're 2 degrees from over 3.2. Now, this is on average based on the people that you're connecting to. Some people, you know, are much more narrowed in their connections. So if you are in a very tight sector, maybe a smaller sector where there's not as many people connected to other people, or it's not as social, the numbers might vary. But for the most part, these are the averages. And we were just with LinkedIn yesterday, and Monica from LinkedIn did an amazing presentation, which I'm going to blog about, and I'll share some of those stats with you guys in the next couple of weeks on that blog. But it was great to spend some time with LinkedIn and just confirm this presentation here, and she says this is spot on in terms of how you get to the top. So, and if you want to check out my Twitter account, you can see some of those slides from yesterday. Now, we talk about network science, how we are wired. I just said, my good friend Peter's Chrisman's on the line with us today, and in terms of how we're wired and we're connected, you know, Peter came to me. We're connected through a couple other people, through some banking clients and through some associations. We become good friends, and now because I became good friends and I'm connected with Peter, I've connected to 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12 great people, right? And so that's a social network, right? And that social network, in that social network, hopefully when they have to do something on LinkedIn, hopefully when they have to do something, you know, any type of training or coaching, they think of me. And Peter works on business strategy, exit planning, things like that. And when I have somebody in my network that needs that, they're going to think of Peter, right? And this is how we want you to function within your network. And there's links, right? The link between 2 targeted nodes. There's clusters that are a group of targeted common people. And then there's hubs, right? We'll give you more of that. If you take our training, you'll understand more of that. But there is a true science developed by the U.S. Army, and you can Google that, U.S. Army Network Science. Write that down. It is a fascinating study. It's a fascinating science, and it's under the hood of everything that we teach. It's how we're wired. So when people are searching, they type in what we call keywords or keyword phrases. So give me some examples with the folks that are on today. In the questions area, type in, if I could tell you that you could own a phrase in LinkedIn and get found by a certain way, you want to think about how are your ideal prospects looking for you? What would be the phrase that you want to own? I just want to get some examples in here. So, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to be known for, right? And Lisa, can you please look at those questions are coming in, please? Okay, so we have commercial, litigation, Chicago, very good. That's very clear. Internet marketing, senior training specialists, vibrant senior living community, I like that. Outreach, that might be, maybe want to get a little more specific in that. Seasoned HR executive, beyond the numbers approaching to media planning. That may be, you want to try to think of 3 words or less, but you're on the right track there. Certified public accounting, and it might be, Jim, you guys have certain niches in your certified public accounting, so you probably want to try to work that in there. Maybe even CPA with some other keywords in there. Forensic accountant, I like that. Unclaimed property. Good. So you guys have the game down, right? So now, yeah, the musician's CPA. I wouldn't say the music CPA. I would say the musician CPA. You guys deal with a lot of talent, entertainment CPA, things like that. So that's what you want to look at there. Okay, cool. All right. I just see some of our students in here. So some of them I know better, and I know what I can coach them on in this session. So now when we look at sample keywords, I have mortgage up here. I noticed I had some mortgage professionals in, so I pulled this slide that says, there's different words that you want to be known for, right? So it might be mortgage, it might be home financing, home lending, and what you want to do is you want to find the top sort of, 6 to 10 words that you want to dominate in your profile. We're going to show you where to put these, but those are called your keywords. Right? And this takes a lot more than the time that we have today. So what we want you to do is we want you to think about going through an exercise with yourself or somebody else. And here is a really cool thing you can do, right? So where you have your personal keywords, what are you an expert in? How would your ideal prospect find you? What would they yell or Google to find you? What makes you different? And then what is your skill set? So once you can answer that, you sit down and you write 10 things that you're an expert in. And we always recommend take a sheet of paper, draw a line down the middle, and on the left-hand side, write 10 things that you're an expert in, and on the right-hand side, write what terms would someone use to find you. So Jim, I'm going to use you guys because you do a ton of entertainment. So you said the music CPA, and I don't think, and I know you were joking a little bit in that, but just using that as a real simple example that we can all communicate with. Catalano and Cabor do amazing work with the entertainment industry as accountants, right? So as we look at that, it's like, man, if I'm in the entertainment business and I'm typing into my social network and I want the recommendation of the very best person, and I just happen to be connected to Jim, and I type into LinkedIn, I need an entertainment CPA. Right? That's what I would probably type in. So I need an entertainment CPA, I need entertainment business CPA, something like that, or a musician CPA, right? So you have to think about what are your clients typing in, and those are the keyword phrases that you really want to put in. Typically what we do is we put our skills in that we know about, terms that we use, but we want to understand our target and how they type those things in. Okay? So think about that. Now, when we go in here, and we'll get beyond this here, the second one is to adjust your settings, okay? So there's 4 key settings, right? So who can see your activity feed, who can see your connections, your visibility, and communications. So let's go into this just a little bit. I'm not going to get too deep. We have full courses on this, okay? So you're welcome, Jim, on that. optimal settings, right? So when you go into your settings, first of all, you need to have your password. LinkedIn's going to ask you for your password. They do that as a security precaution. So make sure you always have your password known. Even if you're on mobile, you might be asked to type that in as you go in and change settings. So when you go in here, it's a big, overwhelming screen, but let's hone in on a couple specifics. One is if you're going to make updates to your profile, you don't necessarily always want those broadcasted. You want them broadcasted after the fact. So down here where it says profile, you see where there's a little head in the middle of the screen and it says profile. Next to it, it says privacy controls. So where it says turn on and off your activity feed, right? You want to let people know when you change your profile, make recommendations, or follow companies. You want to turn that off, uncheck that box and save that. Go make your profile changes, but please remember to turn it back on. Okay, afterwards, because you do want to broadcast things that you're updating on a smaller level, right? So, yeah, cool, nice. All right, cool. So now, right, now you get to this, you know, now you get to that next level, okay? So, so very cool stuff. Now, when we get to there, we go into optimal settings, right? Who can see your activity feed? Right, so now you can see your activity feed, and you know, and this is what you want. Who can see your activity feed? Your activity feed displays actions you've performed on LinkedIn. Select who can see your activity feed. Now, the reason you want this set to everyone, and some people say, well, I just want my connections to see that, but don't forget about the degrees of separation. Right? Don't forget about the degrees of separation. Now, all of a sudden, we have 1, 2, 3 degrees of separation. We have everybody that's connected to that. So when you put your activity feed on, you want to make sure everyone can see that, right? We want to make sure everyone can see that, okay? So pretty cool. So think about how important that is when you put something on there, when you do some sort of post, you do some sort of update, you want to set to everyone, okay? Unless you're in a very closed environment. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay. So real quick, when we get into, thank you everybody, so so the other thing you want to do before you do your profile is to do a backup. Now everybody's like, well, I can't find out where to back up in my LinkedIn. Well, one of the biggest things is that people will make updates to their profile, and we always say the profile's never done. You have a living profile, right? Just like you're a living, breathing professional, you learn new skills all the time. You have different priorities. Maybe you have different products. You have a different focus. Right? So it is super important for you to really understand that your profile grows along with you. So we're going to show you some cool things in your profile to do, but one of the things you want to do is back it up, because let's say you change your mind, or people, you know, you want to go back to something, right? So now you can go to your profile and go where it says improve your profile, and right next to there it has a little drop down, and you can drop down and export to a PDF. And here's a tip. With the tip, you can go to anybody's profile and print it to a PDF. So if you want to make notes before a meeting, or if you want to do a little deeper tracking, you can certainly do that, right? So you go to edit, drop down, export to PDF. All right, cool. Now we have a question in here. Do the profile updates also update on my company profile? No, it's not automatic, Pam. That's an excellent question. Lisa, let's hold that to the end and then bring that back, and I want to make some comments on that, but I like that question. Okay, number 3, build and optimize your profile. Now again, remember, it was about understanding my network, right? The keywords. It was about having the right settings, right? So I made some optimized settings, and now I'm going to go in and, you know, build the best parts of my network. Now in our classes, we have what we call sort of our content guide, right? And so we're going to follow a little bit of that and tell you that, you know, again, we're on shortened time today. So we're like, what are the most important things we can tell these folks, right? So real quick, just so I can get a poll, I'm going to put a poll up on the screen here, and it just says, do you have a complete LinkedIn profile? So before I tell you what a complete LinkedIn profile is, I just want to get some insights on the polling here, and we'll see how fast you guys can poll. So we have 30% of you in 10 seconds. You guys are rocking today. I love this. All right, so And Pam, if you look on our screen, you should hopefully see a poll up there that you can participate in. Okay, we're going to let this go to 30 seconds. We're at 25 seconds. No, that's okay. Some people don't orient towards that, so it's great. All right, so we're at 30 seconds, and 71% of you came in. So 56% of you said yes, 25% of you said no, and 19 not sure. Okay. So like I said, is a profile ever completely done? I just made my updates today, and I'm going to give you some tips here about when you're found first. We want you to be seen first too. What's the difference in that? Well, we want you to be clear, right, what you will do for others, why and how, what do you want, and this is an interesting aspect, what do you need, right? So we want you to tell people what you need, and you know, what do you want to tell them, right? So what kind of conversation do you want to, what kind of conversation you want to have? And when we think about your elevator pitch, right, the things that you know, that you're telling people when you go to a networking event, you have an elevator pitch, and LinkedIn is nothing more than a big networking event. So you want to have your pitch ready. So when we go in here, we want to make sure you have that ready. Well, the first pitch is like the part of your name tag. Okay, the elevator pitch, it's always like, well, you want to make sure people understand what you do in that pitch. So you could have the highest optimized profile, get to the top, be skipped over. Why is that? Well, the number one thing that gets people skipped over is the headline. You see here where it says social network and relationship marketing, social selling trainer, coach. Well, we've been doing so much social selling courses and boot camps that people are like, well, you're our social selling person, right? So now I'm like, okay, well, I took social selling and I moved it to the front of my profile, and I moved social network down a little bit because we do a ton of boot camps on relationship marketing and social selling. So even though I have that in my profile and I get ranked pretty good for social selling, it was still not at the front of my badge, if you will. It wasn't at the front of my headline. So you don't want to necessarily, people are not always going to hire you or talk to you or communicate with you because you're the CEO or because you're the vice president or because you're the manager. They're going to communicate with you because of the skill they need, right? So you need to put the skills that you want to be known for, or the ones that make you money or get you hired or promoted. You want to put those skills first, and your first 5 words are critical. Your first 5 to 6 words are critical because when you show up in a search, that's what people see. Right? They see those first 5 or 6 words. Okay, so make sure those are your money words. So out of your keywords, you want to have those at the very, very front. You also want to have repetition. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a rule of thumb in our class that we teach people that you want to have. So if I want to be known for social media, I want to put that into my profile, into my summary, into my headlines, into my experience, and I want to have frequency. So if I want to come up, you know, let's see, let's go back to some of these examples in here. Performance improvement consultant. So Francine wants to be known as the top performance improvement consultant on LinkedIn. So what you would do is there's a word, performance improvement consultant. Now what I would say is you have some anchor words there, right? So you have anchor words. So I want to be known for social media. I want to be known for social media coach, right? So coach is a word, social media is a good phrase, social is a good phrase. So what you would do is you would take, let's work with Francine's here. So Francine's is performance improvement consultant. So what you would want to do, Francine, is make sure that independently you had the word consultant, performance, right, at least 20 times in your profile mentioned somewhere, because you know, I'm sure you don't just do performance improvement. I'm sure you do performance analytics. I'm sure you do other things that I would look for performance for my company, is my guess. A small business performance, right? So you want that performance word, that anchor keyword, to be at least 20 times throughout your profile. And I'm going to show you a couple other spots. So we would have it in the sort of in the headline here, but we would also have it in the description. Now, you don't just have it in the description, right? You don't just have it in the description, but you want to make sure that you have the phrase in there. So you really want to be known for performance improvement consultant. So with that, you want to make sure that that whole phrase is in there 10 times together, because if someone types in that entire phrase, performance improvement consultant, if that's really what you want to be known as, you want to pick that up. You want that phrase in there at least 10 times. Okay, as a phrase. Now you can also count the 20 times that you have the word performance, the 20 times that you have the word consultant. So remember the 10-20 rule. Okay, and I can't go too deep into that because they're telling me that I'm running over on time, but does that make sense? Give me a yes in there if this makes sense to you guys. So it's just call it the 10-20 rule, write that down, and I'm going to show you other places to put these keywords, right? And this is one of the easiest things you can do. Right? So now you get in here, and where else can you put these? Well, you can put them in. You can put them in your experience. You can put them in. You can put them in your education. Right? So you can put them in your summary, your headline, your experience, your education. I'm going to show you a couple other places. Now, just as an aside, you can also put them in as projects. Maybe you have publications, right? Maybe you can put them in under your volunteer experience and causes. Some of you have related, right, experiences and causes that you deal with. The other place that is often overlooked, and I'm going to give you some cool tips here, so pay attention to this one, in terms of the reflection of your skills, right? This reflection of your skills is a reflection of you. So I was known for a number of years, still am, for lead generation, online marketing, social media marketing, but my passion is social selling. Right? My passion is social networking. My passion are relationships and relationship marketing. So I'm like, man, that's way down the list. So what I did is LinkedIn now allows you, when you go into edit mode, is to drag and drop and manage your skills so you can put the most relevant skills you're known for today at the very top. Okay, so while I may have, in this example, 286 people selecting me for lead generation, I am building recognition for my skills in social selling because it's a newer term in our industry, and so I put that to the top. I put relationship marketing to the top. I put the terms that I want to be known for today at the top. And those of you that have been in business for a while, or maybe you've transitioned, need to think about the skills that you have today, and these are also your keywords. And you can have up to 50 different keywords. So performance, right? So performance improvement consultant, you can put, Pam, you can put performance improvement. You can put, or I'm sorry, that was Francine. You can put performance metrics, you know, you can put performance, other words that are performance, and what's cool is when you add these in, they will, you know, they'll actually pop up with other suggestions for you. Don't forget, if you add images, right? Do you guys have images or PowerPoints or anything like that, right? So if you have those images or those PowerPoints, you can put those keywords throughout all of your images. So when you put, guess what? When you put your YouTube video on YouTube, you want to put all your keywords in there, right? Because this works in concert with Google. And now you attach your YouTube video to your profile, you put your keywords in there. Right? Think about how powerful that is. Now you have keywords that live on YouTube, live on Google, live in your LinkedIn profile. Now you're not just found in LinkedIn, but you're found in Google, right? And there's blogs and publications and all kinds of other things. But that's what we're going to leave you with on that one. Now, the next thing is probably one of the coolest, because we always have you do what we call a peer review. A peer review is where you take the people in your network. You take the people in your network and you ask them to look at your profile for you. So in our workshops, we pair everybody up, we get them together, we have some fun, and then we're like, well, we want you to go back and do a peer review. And this means that the other person is completely honest. And what happens is they look at your profile when you're done and they explain who you are. They do your elevator pitch for you. And they tell you what you do. They tell you how clear it is, and they tell you if they would hire you. And it's fun. I actually do it with clients and I do it with folks, and I'm like, does this seem clear? You guys know what I do, right? And so I would change my profile. I would change some of what I'm saying and say, does this seem clear to you? Does this make sense? So think about that for yourselves. It's called a peer review. It's fun, it's exciting, it's a great meeting. You can sit down, it's a social activity. We had a group when we were in New York. We had 4 people sitting around a table doing it, you know, and it was just a blast. You know, they went out afterwards and actually became good friends, a lot of them, after they did the peer review. So think about what that looks like for you guys. So you got your keywords in there, your settings, you understand how you're wired and who your target is, and now you're doing a peer review. Number 5 is measure your results. The coolest thing they did is they put these metrics in here where you could go in and look at who's viewed your profile. So it's not just you're not just looking at people, but you're looking at metrics. So you can say, man, I'm really trying to get people in the San Francisco Bay Area. Am I really attracting people from that area? I'm really trying to get people in information technology and real estate. Those are 2 segments that I'm interested in. Am I getting people in those segments? I really want salespeople. I want to attract salespeople. Am I getting salespeople attracted to my profile for my next social selling boot camp, right? So think about you, and so you want to look at this at least once a week and make sure you're fine-tuning it, and the people that are showing up are the ones you want. No, this is not a premium feature. Great question, Fred. This is a basic. All features I'm talking about today, folks, are basic features. Okay, no premium required, right? Okay, and so what you want to do is this will also improve your Google page rank, like what I told you earlier, all these steps. All right, so those were the 5 things. Measure, and please, when you're done, don't forget to turn on activity broadcasts. Now, the next phase of this, right, is once you get a good profile, is not only getting to the top, but you also want to generate business. How do you monetize it, right? Well, that's where a lot of our upcoming workshops come in. And so social selling, right? So we have a waiting list, right, that we generate for our social selling boot camps. So I'm just going to put up a poll, and I just want to ask if you guys want to be part of the waiting list as we launch our next social selling boot camp. And some of them are online, and some of them travel around to cities, right? So you can be on the waiting list, and we'll say, hey, we're coming to your area. Would you like us to invite you to this? Or if we'll say we're going to have another one online. Are you interested in this? Okay. So super cool stuff. So we have 70% of you yes and 30% of you not sure. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and end that. Right. So, and what social selling is, let me give you just a little aspect of this, because this is a huge deal, man. It's like the newest way. You know, I grew up in call centers and doing dials, and it makes me shiver when people say doing dials anymore. But when what happened was when I understood the power of referrals and networks, and I understood how LinkedIn worked, I got super excited about the fact that I could not only, use my referral database that I understand in my team and my network, which we show you how to build in our boot camp, but I could actually use techniques inside LinkedIn. Like when I was stuck at LaGuardia last night, I was in my LinkedIn and I booked 2 appointments because I did what we call power moves to book those appointments. So I want to make sure that you guys understand how to do that, or the options for that. So we have a platform called Social Jack that you guys are willing to go try out for free. You can go get a free trial. There's social selling classes in there that you can sample, and there's a whole resource center. It's just at socialjack.com, and you can go check it out. Now, we also have, Facebook classes. There's social selling on Twitter, but I want to focus on LinkedIn here for a minute. The thing that you just went through is a segment of part of our social network black belt certification in social selling. This is where, if you want to take this, right, as part of our boot camp, you can go in and take the modules, you can test, you can take the LinkedIn beginner courses and build the ultimate profile. You can go and build a whole team. We teach you how to scout and draft for the ultimate network, to build an ultimate network around your goals, right, to close your sales at that next level. Or if you want career network, we teach you how to build that. And then we show you advanced sales skills in our red belt class. And then when you take all these, guess what? You also get weekly coaching. So you get to group coaching, right? So if you're interested in that, we have some of you on the waiting list, right, for the next class coming up, and we just want to pre-announce, because you're going to get an email on this, that we have LinkedIn Social Selling Bootcamp. And if you go to socialsellinglinkedin.com, you guys can actually visit this, and I have a video there where I explain it. We tell you about the curriculum, and what we did is we took, we fly around and do these, but a lot of people were like, I can't make it to the boot camp. So this is an anytime boot camp where you can go to the live classes. It's 4 weeks long. You get Social Selling 101, the foundations. You get 201, network building. You get 301, you get the advanced sales techniques, and 302, you get more techniques. So yes, and I'll get questions in 2 minutes here. Please hang on, or type your questions in so I can get those queued up. And then you get the coaching, and then you get the e-learning modules, and you get the resource center. So you get everything in Social Jack, plus you get the certification program, plus you can have access. And you can take this whenever you want, right? So as you look at this, if you guys want to jump in a little early ahead of us releasing it, we just processed our previous waiting list, and the full price is $397. Right? And this starts, it starts, I don't have the dates for the boot camp up here. That's the only thing, Lisa, if you could put the boot camp dates up there. So I think the boot camp starts July 9th. But go there to the page, and if you use FP100 regardless, you guys will get $100 off on the early bird. So you actually pay $197. So if you go to, if you actually do go to register, and you press register now, you get $100 off on that $297. All right, so now the questions are coming in, so let's get these questions handled. All right, don't forget your 5 steps today that you learned. So before I get the questions, what is the one thing you're going to change? Okay, give me the one thing you guys are going to change. Type that in. So I taught you about the understanding the foundation, about adjusting your settings, right? Good. Keywords. I talked about building and optimizing in the place that you can put those keywords, right? I talked about the peer review. So if you think you have a complete profile, do a peer review and really challenge yourself on this. You want to get to the top of the people that are looking for you, right? And then don't forget to measure. Right? Good stuff, everybody. All right, couple questions coming in. Is it better to post to everyone or to the groups you belong to? Great question. So this is social media engagement, right? So as we look at social media engagement, right, we look at social media engagement, and this is one of the things where it's like, well, do I post in my regular profile and post to everyone or post to groups? And that's an excellent question. I'm not sure who asked that. That looks like Pam. Pam, you are on fire asking questions, so we'll stick around here for a few minutes and answer as many, if not all, the questions that we can. So when you're posting to your network, we think that you should do both. Okay, so in our class, we teach you in our sales techniques, we have what we call group diving. We also have network diving, and we want you to be seen in your entire network, because like I said, with the degrees of separation, remember you're connected to maybe 3.2 million plus people, we want you to be seen by those people. Now that is hopefully a targeted network that you've assembled between the people that you know and the people that you want to know or you want to attract. So you want all those people to see you. And what's different about a group is those people are in your network through the group. So just like I'm part of the Social Media Strategy Summit group, right? That's the people I was with in New York, and I've done conferences with them across the country. That is a social network of just social media professionals, right? We've got CMOs from NASCAR and Disney and HBO and all kinds of, LinkedIn folks, and it's just it's a community of people that are all striving for the very best, and nobody has the one answer. We're all learning from each other, right? So it's a very different conversation than when I go to my targets that are in my general network. Does that make sense? So it depends on the group, right, that you're participating in versus the general target you're looking to attract through your connections in your network. And remember I said top of mind, right? So think about that top of mind, mind perspective. You want to make sure you're attracting those people through this. And Paul, don't worry, we recorded this for you, so you'll actually get to listen in on the whole thing. So we'll make sure we get everybody a copy of this. But hopefully that makes sense, Pam, on your question. Let's see. Next question. Here's a good question with the business page. Does my personal profile update populate on my company page? No, they're two independent. They're two. they're two independent things. So the company page, actually we teach you how to network with, because you should have a different following for your business page versus your individual page. And we teach you how to work both of those social networks together. Remember I said there were hubs and clusters and nodes, right, as part of the social network. We want to make sure that that you understand that your company, your business as a brand may have a very different network than you as a professional, but we want them to work together. So they're not more, you know, they're not one and the same. So John's asking a great question, and that's like a question. But how do I drive more traffic and followers to my company page? Well, it's about engagement. It's about having engaging posts, and it's about cross-promoting. So if you're just a company of one, you want to get partners, what we call trusted agents, involved. It's part of relationship marketing. It's the workshop I gave yesterday in New York about how to actually build community around your business. And this works with Facebook, this works with LinkedIn, this works with Twitter, it works with all social networks, right? You want to provide enough value so that people like and share your things, and you want to share those between networks so you can pull people from groups, from your sub-networks, from your direct networks, from people that are connected to you, over to your company page. And that's the easiest way to explain it in the time that we have, John, but hopefully that makes sense. And you want to plan for that. You have a certain target around your business, like I said, on those business pages, and you want to make sure you're speaking to that target, and make sure your profile is completely up to date and all your links work on there. And you know, we always see a lot of sort of partial things. What other questions? You have me for another minute here. Okay, cool. So I have a, Paul, you are rocking today. Let me see. I have a product service that requires a C-level approach for a major sale. Absolutely, we do too. We have social selling for Fortune 500. I'm right there with you. But also can be sold to individuals. So do we. We have public boot camps, just like the one that's up on your screen, right? Anybody can attend that. Sold to individual consultants and small businesses. Is there a presence of C-level folks using LinkedIn? And yes, Paul, I can tell you firsthand, the #1 training that we do in our social selling, Paul, if you haven't done our social selling, you have to get in there, man. It's $100 off. It's $197, and I promise you a C-level deal. Okay, I promise you, in front of all these folks, if you follow our program, you can have as many of those C-level folks. That's who we target, man. We target mid to large companies. We target public companies, the C-suite in there. We teach you how to get in there through network diving. But yes, I can honestly say, and you can talk to any of our students. I don't know if any of them are still on. But Jim and everybody in here, Jim Catalano, are you on, John? He would vouch for us on this as well. It was the one that I saw jump out. But yes, I promise you, you would get that especially. Oh, how often to update your profile? Well, we put it in, we have what we call a social jack plan where you guys actually have things to do on Monday, 20 minutes a day. It's a 20-minute-a-day program. It's Monday through Friday, and we usually say once a month, check in on your profile every 30 days. So that's a conscious level for you to check. I actually check mine once a week because there's things that we do, there's PowerPoints that we do, and I like to make sure that those are updated. Right, so when we do this slide deck, we'll go into my LinkedIn profile. It'll go up on SlideShare. It'll go up on social media. Right. So again, that's once a week. Okay. Going once, going twice. Any other questions? Did everybody learn something new? Did you get at least one new nugget out of here? Oh yes, social selling question. Go ahead, Paul. We'll take that one. I love social selling questions. I'm looking for that. All right, go ahead. Social selling question. Go ahead, Paul. I'll wait. I'll type it in. Okay. Yeah, everybody's asking about the date, Lisa. Can you please give us the start date? I think it's July. I want to say July 9th. That's, I'm guessing. So I was looking for Lisa's help on that, so hopefully she'll tell us. But if you go to the website, socialsellinglinkedin.com, actually, let's go there right now. See if I can do this. We'll see. We'll go there together. How's that? Watch this. right. Yes, the start date for the boot camp is July. And here's what you do. So if you want to use that FP 100, you see how it's $297 for the early bird? FP 100, you apply, it takes it to $197. Isn't that cool? I think that's cool. All right, so and normally we do it in classroom, and you guys are getting the same classes as everybody gets in the classroom. And yes, we start on July 9th, and it's from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. So session 1, session 2, session 3, session 4. All right, cool. All right. Oh, sorry. Let's do that again. Thanks for the coaching on that. Hey, we can't see it. Okay, so here we go. We go to enter the promo code FP100. You enter that in, you apply it, it drops the price to $197. And then if you want to see the classes, I was saying these are the classes that we have live, and when you want to see down here, you get access to these 4 sessions that are live plus all the e-learning classes. So there's July 9th, 16th, 23rd, and July 30th from 3 to 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. And let's see, more questions coming in. Yes, so if you're on a consulting assignment, everything is recorded 100%, and then you can come to coaching sessions, and we have coaching sessions live every Wednesday at noon Central. So what you can do is submit your questions electronically like you just did. You can come in live when we have our experts on the phone, and we work through exact situations that you guys have. Okay, so if you have a scenario, Paul, where you're trying to get into the C-suite at Nabisco or Boeing or wherever, and you want to work through that exercise in coaching, we work through that exercise in coaching. Does updating your profile weekly notify and drive them crazy? Fred, brilliant question. No, not at all. There's so much updates going on that people necessarily don't mind that, you know, in terms, as long as it's something legit. If you're just like updating your photo every week or updating updating things that don't make sense, but if you're adding a skill, or if you're updating you know, maybe your summary, or you're adding a new client that you got, or a new project, that's what you want to do. You want to be active in that. And don't just do it, you know, if you're updating it weekly to tweak it, turn it off and on, right, when you're still in the building phase. But once you're live, you know, if you have an update, you want the network to know that you got a new client, that you got a new gig, that you have a new project, that you have a new something that you're doing, right? So, okay, I share my marketing webinars events on my profile, then I post at related groups I'm a member of. Is that, yeah, that's a good procedure, Whitman. I love it. We do the same thing. The only thing you have to be careful of with groups on LinkedIn, see if I can get to here. You want to really be careful with groups, because some groups have boundaries, and they have things that they have a special area that they want you to post in most cases, called promotions. So without getting, I'm running way over here, but without getting too deep, what you want to do is make sure that you put things in the promotions area. And if you're going to promote your boot camp or something like that in here, like Michael's doing, I always recommend to do it as a discussion. So talk about, start a discussion about that, and then promote it right to that. Okay? All right, everybody. Well, thanks for hanging in there. Sorry we ran so over, but we always want you guys to have as much value as possible out of these things, and we love it if you guys give us a shout out, or if you want to join us on our social networks. So we want to thank everybody, and hopefully we see you in the upcoming boot camp. Just go to socialsellinglinkedin.com. And connect with us. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Connect with the team here on our social media sites. Follow us on Twitter. We're always at events and love to bring you good value. So we'll look forward to seeing you guys hopefully in the boot camp, in coaching. We have one-on-one coaching if you need it, and maybe in our marketing series as well. So with that being said, we'll see you online looking amazing with your new profile updates, and have some fun, and we'll see you online. Take care.